I've been sent this little box of goodies from Glistra markers, and there is one in particular that has caught my attention. This is a luminous marker. So today we're going to be making a glow-in-the-dark colouring page. This is like invisible. New plan. Today, we're going to be creating an invisible colouring page. The question is, how well does this actually work? It was hard to tell if the paint was loaded because I just couldn't see, but once I got it working, I was able to write a secret message and use a UV black light to make it light up. Okay, so it's good for writing secret messages, but is it good for creating an invisible colouring page? If I'm going to be creating a colouring page, I want the best paper to work with this pen. So I've tried a few options, including a piece of black paper, and decided on a bleed-proof marker paper as the best option, although they all worked much the same. Now the question is, how do I draw a colouring page when I can't see what I'm drawing? And so my challenge begins. Creating an invisible colouring page with an invisible marker, which I could see if I positioned myself in just the right way to get a slight reflection off the texture of the paint with my lights, but otherwise I was staring at a blank piece of paper. So as long as I held my terrible posture, didn't mind a sore back, and squinted a little bit, I could see just enough of the line work to keep drawing without making a total mess. No, I really can't see a thing here. All right, I think we need a black light check. What do you think? Let's see what we've got so far. Little preview so far. If I hold it here, I can actually see what I'm doing. That would be easier. Is that cheating though? All right, we're off to a good start. Okay, putting it away. Oh, now I can't see anything. If I angle just right, there's a slight reflection on the different texture. Like if I just this way, can I draw like this?
Your head's in the shot.
Of course my head's in the shot. I can't see what I'm doing. I hope no one wants a copy of this colouring page because I don't think I can sell this as a printable. It pretty much will be a blank page. My art piece is finished. What do you think? This feels like some big epic April Fool's joke, except that we're nowhere near April right now. But yes, there is something on this page. Let's turn off the lights. Can you turn off the lights, please? Shade, that's your key. Woo! Let's just whoa, let that come into life. So my blacklight isn't the strongest, but I think this is turning out pretty cool. It's like a secret piece of art that you can only see under the right lighting, but it's not finished yet. So it's time to colour our page in, but it would be boring to use normal supplies, so I think we need to find some invisible supplies. Maybe not this approach, but I do think we can find some ways online to make some invisible ink using some stuff around the house. So I know that highlighters glow really well under UV light, but they're not invisible. Apparently bleach makes for good invisible ink. So lemon juice apparently works as an invisible ink when activated by heat. Let's see if it works under UV light as well. Use as required in place of fresh lemons. Sure. What glows under UV light? Cat urine. No. Olive oil? We can try that. Vinegar's on some of these lists, but not others. Okay, so I've got some options. I think we just go for it. And I've got a spare piece of paper here so that I don't ruin my artwork. Although I'm not sure which one's the spare now. That one's the spare. Okay. That could have been awkward. I also had an idea that I haven't seen tried before. I wonder how our white art supplies will look under a black light. So I've grabbed my white pencils, white paint pens, and white gel pens to try out too. I've created a little testing chart to swatch out all these supplies and see what they look like, both in normal lighting and under the UV black light. After we've seen the results, we can choose which supplies will give us the best variety for our colouring page. I don't really know what to expect here or if any of these will work at all, so I'm excited to see where this takes us. Let's turn off the lights. Please. All right, what do we got here? Okay, so the lemon juice has failed me. I think that maybe I need real lemons. The bleach is interesting. It's kind of done a reverse glow. It's just made it black. It's like taken away the glowing of the paper. White vinegar, fail. Olive oil, not really enough to count. The detergent, okay, we've got a bit of a glow happening here for the detergent. The highlighters are crazy cool, except that they are also not invisible, so that kind of disqualifies them. Some of these, like the acetone and the white vinegar, they might work better on a black piece of paper, whereas the white piece of paper is already glowing. So we're really looking for something that will stand out differently to our white piece of paper here. So it gets a little bit more interesting on this other side because some of these supplies that were completely invisible when the lights were on are suddenly visible with our black light because they are stopping the white page underneath from reflecting with our light. So I wasn't initially expecting to use these to create secret messages, but I think we've just found a new use for our white pens and white pencils that maybe we didn't know about before. I mean, based on this, I feel like we don't even need to dive into some of these probably a little bit more hazardous chemicals because our actual white supplies actually work pretty well. So this just doubled as colouring a white colouring page with white supplies. This video took an unexpected turn. With my new findings, it's time to start colouring. This time I'm using my black light to help me because I feel like this will just be an unrealistic challenge any other way. Because I've still got all my studio lights on, it's giving me just enough light to see the area directly in front of it without revealing the whole piece, so I can work on some basic shading and try to use my supplies a little bit more creatively. I've chosen to use the Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen and a white gel pen for my darkest areas. Then I've got two different brands of white pencils to create my medium tones and add some shading. The Caran d'Ache Blender pencil is great to help with that shading and to create some very light tones on its own. Between these supplies, I've ended up with a really good variety of values from dark to light, although this is a completely monotone piece because unfortunately, I didn't find any supplies that brought in any colour. Now that I know what my supplies can do, if I were to do this again, I'd consider using the Pitt Artist pen for the outlines because it would be more like the traditional dark outlines of a colouring page. Instead, my lines are glowing. So it's like my whole page is inverted, but it does make this piece more interesting. I'm using the UV pen again at the end to touch up some areas and add some more highlights. And just for fun, I really want to add some other highlights with the dishwashing detergent. This stuff glows like crazy, so while it's a bit of a messy medium, I do think it adds just a little extra variety and a DIY element to this artwork. So this is definitely not what I expected to make today, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. This looks like a completely blank page. If you do look closely, you can see a difference in a bit of the texture with the white. But when you turn the lights off and bring out the black light, the artwork really comes to life. So if you want to leave secret messages for your friends, you don't need a fancy UV pen. You just need white pencils, white gel pens, or white paint pens, and a UV blacklight. And in terms of cool glowing stuff, I have to say the dishwashing liquid was definitely the surprise today. This stuff really glows under the UV. If you'd like to see me take on more challenges like this, let me know in the comments and please subscribe.